Hi everyone, Keyboard Warrior here. Welcome back to another keyboard review. Let me start off by saying I am not sponsored. Alright, today we will be reviewing a keyboard that I'm pretty sure a majority of you have not heard before. This is the MONKA 6075 Pro. So this keyboard is rather new. It is a collaboration between Marvel and MONKA. And the reason why I'm reviewing it is because I feel that this is a budget-friendly keyboard that hits almost all the sweet spots. So it is a 75% aluminum keyboard. It is gasket mounted, it has 5-pin hot swappable, 3-mode connection, south-facing RGB, and it has a volume knob. The only thing that I would criticize about this keyboard is that the stabilizers need to be modded and it does not support screw-in steps. So the one I have over here is just the keyboard kit and I got it at about $85 US. Alright, that's enough of the introduction. Let's go through the unboxing of this keyboard. So opening up the box, we are first greeted to a very nice summary of the instruction sheet. And underneath the first layer of foam, we see the keyboard is wrapped in plastic. But let's put it one side first. And let's look at what are the other accessories provided. So in the accessories, we see that there is a USB-C cable, pretty plain, pretty normal, but it's alright. A keycap and switch puller, and a little bit interesting is that the switch remover part is a bit more narrow and has some grooves there to make the thumb and finger feel better, I guess. It comes with an Allen key because this board will be using Allen screws, and a screwdriver as well, because there is also Phillips screws in this keyboard. Okay, now let's look at the main item. We see this keyboard. Oh, there's a top plastic hard cover, very good for me, because I always like to cover it at night to prevent dust collection. And now taking it out of the plastic sheet, we are greeted to a very nice blue and gold design of the keyboard. So immediately we can see that it is using an FR4 plate. And at the back of the keyboard, we see a very nice sleek design, just a very nice simple engraving of a letter M with some silicone pads at the bottom. And we can see that there is a beautiful volume knob. So if you don't believe that it is aluminium, let's listen to the ting of it. Alright, now let's look at the teardown of this keyboard. So to disassemble this keyboard, we need to first take off the volume knob, which comes off very easily like this. And we can see that the volume knob is using a D-ring kind of setting, so it is very easy to replace the knob. So now we turn to the back of the keyboard and then we disassemble the keyboard by first unscrewing all the Allen key screws. So in total there's 6 screws, 3 at the top and 3 at the bottom. And the 3 at the top is longer, whereas the 3 at the bottom is shorter. Now what I'm doing here is I'm using the Phillips screw to take off the left and right screw. And this is optional because it is just to fit the side component, which doesn't need to be disassembled if you want to just lift off the keyboard. But do be careful because the screws is very small, like you can just see here. These are the smaller screws already, and the Phillips screw one is extremely small. Now lifting off the top plate, we see a very nice simple design. And we can see that the side pieces have come off already. So we can see at the back of the top plate, it has very nice design. And they have added the rubber pads for the gasket mounting. And we can look at the side pieces here. They look like very nice gold design aluminium pieces that adds a very nice design accent to the keyboard. Alright, now we can see the FR4 plate, and let's look underneath. There is a daughter board and a battery that we need to disconnect from the PCB. So let's look at the bottom casing. We can see that there is a battery and a daughter board, and the bottom casing has a cutout for better cable placement. And now let's put it one side and look at our main kit. So to start off, we see an FR4 plate with plate mounted stabilizers, and we see there are also flex cut in it to make it more flexible. And next up, we got a very simple white PE foam, but not sure why at the back of it is a bit glossy. I'm not sure what it is or what's the intention for it, but I can't seem to remove it. But moving on, we see that there is 2 sheets of paper. They are called the IPXE pad and a PET pad that is just right above the PCB. And now let's look at the PCB, but first let's remove what's underneath it. So it seems to be a bit sticky, but it should be okay. Alright, looking at the PCB, from the back, we see that there is 4 white silicone feet. Not sure what they do, but there are flex cut in the PCB to also make it flexible. We see that it is south-facing RGB. Each key is 5-pin hot swappable, and the volume knob is using a standard control. And for the last item is just another pour-on foam with a sticky PET kind of pad that is stuck to the foam. But alright, that's enough. Let's just reassemble it and listen to the sound test. Oh, but let me just share that as we are going to insert more switches, it will be easier if we first put in a few switches to make sure that everything is stuck together before we attach it to the keyboard. So to reassemble the side of the keyboard, we'll just attach the gold accents in first and screw it back on. So this is the left side. And this is the right side. So we gotta reattach the PCB to the battery and the daughter board. Then we can place it on top nicely to fit the gasket mount for the rubber pads. And just fit the top housing like this. So of course, before screwing in, just make sure that everything's fine by turning on the switch and seeing the RGB lights come on. And then we can screw in back the Allen screws. Just look how beautiful it is. Oh, but before the sound test, let's look at the stabilizers. So instead of foam, they use a hard sound dampener. And after removing it, we can remove the stabilizers. Now taking a closer look at the stabilizers, we can see it is factory looped, but oh man, what is this? It isn't really nicely looped. And looking at the stem, and oh my goodness, it needs to be clipped. If not, it will introduce a lot of rattle. I'll give a short tutorial next time on how to do it as this video is a bit long, but let's listen to the stock stabilizer sound test. Mostly the right side have some rattle and ting to it. Alright, now the next thing I want to show is that the volume knob is replaceable. So here I am using the Royal Clutch R75, and I found out how to take off the volume knob, which is just to use a cut and slide it in and yank it out like this. So you can see that the R75 knob works on the MONKA keyboard, but because of the cutting, the attachment can't really fit in. As you can see from the volume knob, there is some displacement. But now let's try the MONKA's volume knob on the R75. And yup, it fits in easily and works well. I still get the same turning experience and I can press on it as per normal. And for this keyboard, I'll be trying my new budget switch. This is the Z1M1 linears, and enjoy the ASMR of me inserting them in. Oh my, that editing was hard. So just take this easy keycap slap now. Oh sheesh, looking good. Oh yes, I forgot to show you guys the top design of the keyboard. So at the top left here, there's just a USB-C port and the switch. And at the right side, there's a wireless dongle for the 2.4 GHz connection. Alright, now let's plug it in and look at the RGB. Oh yeah, with the side profile keycaps, south-facing RGB is a very important thing to have. And that's it for my review. So there's a software that you can use to connect and the link is in the description. But overall, I think this is an amazing budget-friendly keyboard that ticks a lot of boxes. And if you like this review, please remember to like, comment and subscribe if you want more.